Hey everyone, my name is Mea-Lynn and I am so excited that you decided to click on this video. This is the first video on my YouTube channel and I'm going to be sharing with you why I decided to pursue my MBA this upcoming fall. And I also hope to actually document my journey from beginning to end and share with you what it's like to be an MBA student, and also share with you any tips and tricks that I learned along the way, and also the reasoning as to why I decided to go forward with this path. So I hope that you'll join me, and let's get started with the video. Also, there is some construction going on in the background at my apartment building, and I thought about not recording this video, but then I had a flashback to last June of 2020. I was sitting for the GMAT exam, which is the exam that you have to take before you apply to business school, and I was doing it right at this desk right here. And it was the first time of me sitting for the exam, and it was the first time that they were allowing it to be taken remote or in your own home instead of a testing center. And maybe 10 minutes into the exam, construction started really loudly outside of my home, and it completely derailed the exam and how I was performing. Ended up doing really poorly, but I had to sit through drilling and construction and it was the worst experience ever. But because I just had that flashback, I'm deciding I can't give up now and I'm gonna go ahead and record this video. Okay, so let's get started with why I decided to go to business school. So I'm gonna provide a little bit of context before I get started. So in the fall of 2019, so November of 2019, early November, I actually sat for the Certified Financial Planner exam. And I had been working on the coursework or the education program for roughly a year before I actually decided to sit for the exam, which you can only do 3 times a year. So I sat for the exam November of 2019. I passed, and I was extremely happy that I did, especially because I'd been putting so much time into it over the past year and also the last few months of just studying really hard. So I passed the exam, and I was really excited. And then I remember going into work the next day and then thinking, man, my job is exactly the same as it was before this designation. I decided to pursue the designation for personal reasons, primarily for credibility. Given that I was young and in the financial advisor capacity, it's hard to work with clients that have quite a bit of wealth, are a lot older than you. So my clientele was primarily retirees, so 60 plus, and helping them with their investment management. So I felt that I needed a little bit more education to be able to prove myself in these conversations and just add to my credibility, which is why I pursue the CFP. Well, so the next day I go into the office and I felt that although I was extremely happy that I got the designation, I just felt that I was doing the exact same thing as I did before the designation. And I remember the thought creeping into my mind like, okay, you've been working on this for a whole year, what's next? And I actually stopped myself from going down that rabbit hole and convinced myself to celebrate the win, that it was something that was really monumental, that I worked really hard for, and just enjoy it for that moment. So I pushed that thought to the side in regards to what's next. Fast forward, we are back in March of 2020, and it's the beginning of the pandemic. And I remember, man, everyone's gonna spend this time watching Netflix or, going out, working out, and whatever little things that you could do or pick up a hobby or whatnot. And I asked myself if I enjoyed the work that I was doing. So I was a financial consultant for a brokerage firm where I helped clients grow their wealth through investment management. And I was asking myself if I actually wanted to do that 5 years from now. As soon as I asked myself that question, the answer quickly was no. So when I knew that my answer was no, then my thought was, okay, what is next? What can I do during this pandemic to take advantage of the idle time, but also ensure that I'm setting myself up for success for something that I actually want to pursue as a long-term career? And I've always wanted to get my MBA. However, the timing of when I was going to do it was a little bit off, meaning I didn't have an exact plan, although I did know that I wanted to do it at some point. And I considered doing it part-time, full-time. I mean, all the thoughts were sort of going through my head. But what really started this journey was me answering for myself that I did not want to do the role that I was doing at the time 5 years from then. So there are maybe three big factors that came together that determined why the MBA was appropriate for what I wanted to pursue. So the number one is that I'm originally from Curacao, which is a really small island in the Caribbean. Population's roughly about 160,000 or in that ballpark. And most people, when they graduate high school, typically go to the Netherlands to pursue higher education, or you stay in the island. There's one university, but the resources are quite limited, as you can imagine, with a really small island. So I moved to the US with my mom and my brother when I was 14 years old, so it was freshman year of high school. And my parents didn't go to college, and both of my siblings were pursuing degrees in the medical field. And I wanted to pursue something in business, although I found it quite hard to actually figure out what it is that I wanted to do. So fast forward high school, I'm at UCLA in college, and I'm feeling that there's a lot of people that have a lot of other connections that are sort of helping them get these opportunities. And I just remember how hard it was to navigate this path of figuring out what you want to do when you don't necessarily have a network or people that you can call, or, an uncle or somebody in your family, a parent that you can lean on to ask questions about business and the opportunities that exist in this world. So, part of me in deciding to pursue my MBA, even after working for 5 years, is that I decided that I needed to broaden my network. I needed to meet people that would give me a different perspective, that would help me grow, that would be in positions that would ultimately be able to help me maybe land a career, or help me start a business or whatever it may be. But I wanted to be surrounded by like-minded individuals that all are sort of pursuing a greater good or a higher education in order to advance themselves. And I just wanted to be surrounded by that, and I wanted to have a network of individuals across the country that I can lean on for any advice that I may need, for mentorship, and also to broaden the scope of opportunity for myself, which is the next reasoning. So once I determined that I didn't want to pursue, or I didn't want to continue working as a financial consultant, there's many reasons why. First and foremost, I'm extremely grateful that I had the opportunity to work in investment management, that I was able to get my Series 7, my 66, and I was able to get my Certified Financial Planner designation and learn so much about financial services in wealth management in general. However, there are a few reasons as to why it was so hard for me to continue. Number one is because you're servicing these high net worth individuals that almost forget that you are a human being first and foremost as well. Because whenever there is money involved and there is an issue, their first instinct is naturally to complain or speak really negatively towards you or towards the company. And all you have to do is manage the relationship, always put the client first, and sort of keep them happy to ensure that they don't pull their money or go to a different brokerage firm. And clients are always threatening to leave, and that's what they sort of use as leverage, so you can give in to whatever they're requesting. And it could be something completely outrageous, but they are still feeling entitled because they have X amount of dollars in their account with us, and they feel that you have to do whatever they're asking you to do. So there is the aspect of servicing clients where they're not necessarily seeing you as a valuable partner, or they are until they actually, or something goes wrong that probably has nothing to do with you as the individual, but you have to take the brunt of it because you are the client-facing individual that's managing the relationship. So there is the piece of it being really hard to manage these relationships when clients don't necessarily value you as a person, especially when something goes awfully wrong. So there is that. The second reason is that for the company that I was working with, for whatever reason, even though we're in Santa Monica, California, which is a place that has a lot of money but is still quite diverse, we didn't have any clients of color. So in the relationships that I manage, roughly 300 or so, I didn't have any Black clients. And when I looked around at the office, Black clients just weren't coming into the office. Same with Latinx. So I saw it as a bigger problem of the company and the clientele that we were serving. And I started to feel that as a Black individual, the only Black individual in the office, that I was exacerbating the problem, right? Because I want to be able to help the communities that are near and dear to my heart, so specifically the Black community. And I felt that in that role, I wasn't able to do that. Because when you think about it, although I could have gone out and found Black clients myself, I don't have the network of the individuals that are ultra high net worth or, $1 million plus individuals that would qualify to have a relationship. Tea break. So those are some of the drivers behind wanting to go pursue my MBA. It's I'm able to bridge the idea of working in finance and providing capital, or making sure that I am adding to increasing Black wealth and the wealth in the communities that I feel are underrepresented. And that's women in business, Black people in business or finance, and Latinx communities as well. So wanting to be able to help that community, but also keeping it and seeing it from a financial services or finance lens. Meaning I really like the idea of finance and I can see the impact that it can provide. However, I want to be focused more on helping my community. So merging those two is something that's really important to me, and something that I'm using the MBA to figure out how exactly to do so. So that is the second reason. First reason was network. Second reason was the ability to bridge my mission and what I feel my calling is in combination with finance and some of the things that I enjoy about business. And then so the sun is going down. I'm using natural light, so hopefully I can get through this video quickly enough where the quality is not so bad. But the third reason for wanting to pursue my MBA is to broaden my scope of impact. Meaning with the relationships that I was working with as a financial consultant, I felt that my impact was limited to those 300 relationships or households. And I want to work on problems and ideas that are impacting businesses at large, people and organizations on a much grander scale that I'm able to do currently in my, or that I was able to do previously in my role, since I'm no longer working there. So those are the three main reasons as to why I decided to pursue my MBA. I hope this has been helpful in regards to you getting to know me a little bit and understanding why I decided to go on this journey. I hope that you'll join me so you can see a little bit more as to what it's like to go through school, some of the things that I end up accomplishing, and I'm really excited for this next chapter and hope that you will join and tune in as I continue to post videos on my YouTube channel. The last thing I want to mention for those that are considering pursuing an MBA degree is to take the time to figure out your why MBA before you really do anything else. Because if you can't justify why you want to pursue a business degree, it's going to be really hard to stick through the application process of studying for the GMAT or the GRE, which are the two tests that you need to apply for business school. It's going to be really hard to network with individuals and have somebody take an interest in you if you don't truly have a reason as to why you're pursuing a business degree. So I highly encourage all of you to think about the reasoning why and your drivers behind why you want a business degree before you actually set out on this path. If you have any other questions or video suggestions about this MBA journey or about my application process, the GMAT, the GRE, please leave it in the comments below and I'll be engaging with you all right there. And then if you would please also like the video and share with your network or with anybody that's looking to pursue their MBA degree. I'm really happy to answer any questions, or if anyone has or needs to have a conversation with somebody that's been through it, I would be happy to engage with you and have that conversation and provide any advice that I may have that can help you on your journey. So thank you so much for joining and tuning into this video today, and I hope to connect with you on the other videos to come. Bye guys.